Welcome back to another episode. This is Layla, and today we are talking about the wild man and why he bows to the dark feminine only. So, we're going to unpack what it means, and I'm also going to explain how we can embody this energy and why we should embody this energy as well, and why it brings so much freedom. So, first of all, who is the wild man? So the wild man is the archetype. It's one of the archetype of the divine masculine. And usually the wild man does not refer to himself, like he does not say that he's a wild man. Like first of all right? I'm just talking about the energetics and the dynamic, behind what's really happening, but to give a more practical explanation of that, the wild man is usually a man that answers to nobody. So it's a man that usually owns one or multiple businesses. He does not take any order, any commands from anybody, right? He loves to work on his own schedule. He usually has a lot of employees. So he's the one in charge. He's the one, telling people what to do. He's daddy. That's the that's the energy. All right. Most of the time these men are not spiritual, meaning that they don't necessarily read about astrology, numerology. I mean, they've heard about it, right? But usually the type of wild man that uses spiritual knowledge is usually billionaires or someone who aspires to be a billionaire. But that's it, in general. Like, you're not going to hear these men talk about any spirituality. They're going to be very practical, straight to the point. They don't really have any emotional bonds, just like most men, but for them it's like on another level because they're very cold, very detached, but they can be obviously very gentle. They can be, gentlemen. Obviously those are the ones that those are the only type of men as a woman we should let enter our lives. So some of them are cocky, of course, some of them are arrogant, and others are very respectful. So obviously we're talking about the respectful one today. So like I said, the wild man does not bow to anybody, right? He does not answer to anybody. He usually, even with his businesses, he usually always finds ways to pay as less taxes as possible. Like, he's like that, He's not the type of person who's going to be like, oh, the government wants half of my earning, okay, well, let me just give it. He's like, let me hire someone or people or a group of people, like lawyers, fiscalists, tax experts, accountants, whoever is going to help him pay as less taxes as possible. And he's going to do it the legal way. He's going to make sure that it's done the proper way. But that's how smart he is. He's not just going to be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to turn around and bend over and give you half of my hard, earned money. So he does have a lot of legal resources, just resources in general. And so this type of man is always attracted to the dark feminine. But as a woman, the way you want to embody this energy is not as you think. So you might think, oh, well, if I embody the dark feminine and I dress in black and I have some red lipstick, that's very intimidating, even to him, right? So he's going to be attracted to women who embody their own dark femininity, because of course he doesn't want a woman that's submissive. He doesn't want to pick me. Some go for looks, others don't. It really depends on their environment. A lot of them are going to marry someone that they don't find attractive, but then their mistresses are going to be really attractive. So it really depends. Obviously, there's a lot of different possibilities. But as a woman, the way you want to be able to attract these types of men, because obviously when you have a lot of, some call them alphas, however you want to call them. I like to call them the wild men. Just like, let's say Marilyn Monroe or Anna Nicole Smith, right? These women physically would look very, they had the light feminine look. You know what I'm saying? So they would have, some light makeup. They wouldn't go, like, you never see Marilyn Monroe have like this like eyeshadow, like full on like black, you know what I'm saying? So she usually has this more like light feminine type of look. She's blonde as well. She dresses really like feminine, dainty. Even the way she speaks, she's very soft spoken. Anna Nicole Smith was able to recreate that same type of energy as well. So that's how you attract the wild man. You have to look like the opposite of him. All right, so because that's how a magnet works, right? If you look like the dark feminine and you dress in all black with the red nails and stuff, of course, it's going to be very attractive, very seductive, but it might be intimidating, or yeah, it's just going to be too much. So you want to dress that way in contexts where for example, if you work at night, I'm not going to say what you do, but if you work at night, that's actually a good look to go for, because you're going to be able to repel like demonic energies and stuff like that. But also you're going to be very sexy, very seductive, but you're not going to be, you're going to repel the negative energies basically. But if it's during daytime and you're at lunch or you're just, you want more providers, like you want more than one, you want to get married, whatever you want to do, you have to embody physically, like when people look at you, you have to look like the light feminine version of you, because that's how you're going to be able to attract the very masculine men, because masculine men are attracted to the opposite of them. So if you look like a boss lady with your luxury car, and you have like designer from head to toe, and you're dressed all black with the red nails, of course it's sexy, of course you look good, like obviously you know it, but people are not going to approach you. Providers are not going to approach you, because they're going to be like, well, obviously she already has a bunch of providers, or like someone is obviously funding her lifestyle, or she figured it out, she probably has this huge business. So people are going to be repelled. So it depends. It really depends like where you are and what your goal is. But of course, if you want to have men bowing to you, you want the wild man to be like on his knees in front of you. He cannot resist a woman dressed in pink. Like for some reason, pink is the color. White is good as well, because white usually represents purity. Gives this like virgin type of energy. So white is good as well, but pink for some freaking reason, especially light pink. So you don't want to go for like the hot pink. But light pink is extremely attractive, not only for men, but for women as well. By the way, you're going to have a lot of compliments on both sides. But yeah, the wild man is going to be attracted to his opposite. So usually a wild man, some of them are entrepreneurs, of course. Others, are into some illegal stuff. And so usually these types of men have a lot of tattoos, or, they have this like vibe where it's like they're dressed in black, or all the cars that they own, they're usually black. You're going to notice as well. So what's attractive to them, like the opposite of the magnet basically, is pink. It's like, you don't want to look like a little girl, obviously. You want to do it in a way that's very elegant, that's very sexy, that's very classy, all right? But when, for example, instead of doing like the whole like smoky eye and going, a bit overboard with that. Unless it's, like I said, it's at night, it's different. But let's say you're going out for lunch. If you just do like an eyeliner, like, like the eyeliner on the top lid, and then a little bit of like pink eyeshadow, you can go for like some red lipstick is a bit intense, maybe pink, or like a lip gloss or like a lip plumper, right? And you have a little bit of blush and a little bit of bronzer. That's when you're gonna be the most attractive to the wild man. And of course, it's beyond the physical, because obviously like men are very visual, so he's gonna notice you. And then after that, it's gonna be your how you talk and how you walk as well, because if you look all feminine and dainty, but you're like bossing men around, or you're like, you sit at the bar and you're like, let me get a beer, and you talk like that, obviously it's not gonna be attractive, because you're gonna be one of the boys. And some men might come up to you. They, a lot of men love this type of game, and they might try to like chase you, but they might try to like chase you for the wrong reason. So when you give this impression of being like super feminine, super dainty, super like delicate, like a little flower, that's how you're going to be attracting the opposite, which is the grounded, anchored, masculine energy, but not the light one, the dark one, which is the fun one. That's why you see, in mainstream media, there's a lot of like, these like bad boys, right? But most of the time it's just the image, because like, I mean, as a psychic, I guess that's why, I'm able to see beyond the image. A lot of times, a lot of these like celebrity bad boys, first of all, most of them are not into women. They're just not. They're absolutely gay, but they don't look and talk and act gay. Their music is, focused on women, so everybody thinks, they're into women, but they're not. But still, they attract a lot of women because of that image, because of that dark, masculine, wild man type of image. It's very attractive to a woman because it indicates usually a man that is free, that is, that's not like a little mama's boys. That you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very attractive when a man is, established, and he runs shit, basically. He enters the room and people shut the fuck up. That's what it is. That's the type of energy, and it's incredibly attractive. But as women, we have to understand what's the opposite of that, because when you embody the opposite, he's gonna be attracted to you. And by the way, even if you look all feminine and dainty and delicate, blah blah blah, he can sense, like men can sense the women that have dark feminine energy, just like Marilyn Monroe. She doesn't have that dark feminine energy physically, but energetically, this is what she has. And so they can feel it. That's what attracts them to you. And then, later on, after you're like in a committed relationship, or if it's like a sugar daddy or provider, when it's been like a few months or a year, then you can try and switch up your looks. And because you need to switch up your looks sometimes, just to like, I don't know, to just, I guess it's a human need to have this, especially for men, to have this like variety, like to have like new women all the time. But when you switch up your looks and your hair, you can basically do that. And so you can actually test and see, if he likes it, and when you, I don't know, go out for like a dinner, for example, when it's like darker outside, and you try this like vixen type of look, this dark feminine, once again, very elegant, very classy, but with some darker shades and some red lipsticks and red nails, some men get triggered by that for some reason. The men that get triggered by that actually are not the wild men. It's usually men that are very insecure, men that are very controlling, men that have huge egos, and they cannot stand women in power. They usually don't like the dark feminine. So that's why, like I said, if you work at night, or I don't know, if you want to rebel, if you want to repel toxic, insecure men, obviously, if you dress in all black with some touches of red, yeah, you're going to be repelling those types of energy. So, I mean, regardless, like, it really depends on what you're trying to do here. And so, by the way, I know a lot of people are like, let's decenter man. Everything that I talked about today can be applied to a freaking business. When I talk about men, I talk about it's the same concept as, talking about a business, talking about the 3D illusion, talking about light. It's all the same freaking thing. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish in life or what your goal is, you can use the same advice and switch it to whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to end with that. So let's say you have an online business, all right? And obviously you're trying to attract your new customers, clients, that's how you run a business. And so if you have this dark feminine type of energy, of course it's going to be very seductive. It's going to be very seductive, but it really depends on who your customer is, who your client is, If you're more into like the premium, high ticket type of offers, I would go for the dark feminine type of look and colors and stuff like that. But in general, when you work with colors like pink and like white, and you work with these colors, it makes you more approachable. Even online, people are they just assume that you're friendly like when you're dressed in pink. So it really depends. I have two brands that are two opposites, right? So the Hathor brand is like my dark feminine energy, right? And I don't even show my face, and I've been attracting thousands of clients just with my energy, all right? People don't even see my face. And my other brand is the opposite. So I barely talk and I just show my face. And honestly, I've been getting similar results. So it really depends on, like I said, what feels good to you as well, what you're trying to accomplish. I think it's best when you show your face to go with the light feminine energy, because then, people are not really intimidated by you. They're attracted to you. They feel like you're more friendly for some reason. And yeah, especially if you're like still dating, you know what I'm saying? If you're not married and people can stumble across your content, you want to be mindful of that. And so you want to stay within the light feminine topics, the light feminine themes, branding, colors. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're still in that period of, of your life where you're still dating, people can see your profile, if they Google you or, stuff like that. But if you've already done that and you're set up for life, you know what I'm saying? Like you're married, or you have this business that was like super successful, and like you have enough money to retire right now, like you're good. All right, then I would go with the dark feminine energy and speak up my truth, or dress in black or red, because you don't have to pretend or look like the light feminine anymore, right? It's a form of protection. That's what it is. So let me know if you want me to go into more details about any of the things that I talked about today, and I'll see you in our next episode. Bye.